the Buffalo Bills have begun the offseason, or have been in the offseason for a few months now, and we're approaching the draft. And in a lot of ways, the offseason is where you win a championship because you have to get that pieces of the puzzle put together. Is the roster, I feel like, is a puzzle, and you can't put the round pegs of the puzzle into where a square hole should go, or you can't put a rectangular piece of a puzzle into where a round hole should go. So it's all about putting that puzzle together, and I think Brandon Beane, the general manager of the Bills, does a great job at that, and he is willing to look under every single stone that he can ever turn over to try to find the correct pieces of the puzzle to bring Buffalo a championship. So in this offseason, there's always going to be holes, especially in the offseason, that need to be filled. And in the offseason, I felt like the biggest hole that the Bills needed to fill was at safety. And I thought it was the weakest unit in the starting the offseason that we had on the team. And the best way to fill those holes is first you get Micah Hyde back. He would have been back if they'd have gone on in the playoffs, and he seems to be ready to play. One of the best safeties in the NFL. Another one of the best safeties in the NFL is Jordan Poyer. And I'm very happy that the Bills were able to bring back Jordan Poyer onto the roster. Having those two guys back, that's huge, huge for the team. And they went out and they signed another safety, Taylor Rapp, who won a championship with the Rams, the Los Angeles Rams. And Damar Hamlin is also going to be back, as Damar obviously had the heart attack on the field. And he seems like he's going to be ready, too, to play more of a supporting role, I think, this year, as long as Micah can stay on the field. And, I think those four guys together, along with the other backups that we have on the team, I think we've gone from the weakest unit on the team to probably the strongest unit on the team. So I'm very happy with how the puzzle pieces have come together at our safety position. Running back always seems to be a hole on the team, and we always seem to need a short yardage back. I think we needed more of that pounding guy that can get us to short yardage. We always thought Zach Moss was going to bring that to the team, but it never quite fulfilled that prophecy. And, I love what Cook and Hines bring to the team as their speed and their agility, but we needed a guy that can pound it in there. And even better, to take one away from the Patriots and bring it to Buffalo. And I think Damian Harris joining the Bills is going to be a big deal. And if you don't think he is capable of being a home run threat too, then you weren't at the Bills-Patriots game a couple of years ago when he scored the long rushing touchdown in the wind that won the Patriots the game. The guy they handed the ball off to over and over again, that was Damian Harris, among others. But Harris had the big play, and I'm really excited to have him on the squad. But, I watch another YouTube channel on Cover One called the Air Raid Hour, and those guys always say that doesn't preclude them from doing something else or getting another running back. But I do like the three that we've got in the room. I think that's great, but it doesn't preclude them, I don't know if I'm saying that correctly, to draft a running back or bring in another one. But I like the three that we've got now. I think that filled the hole we needed there, as that round hole goes together. I think we needed some help at the O-line. Not too happy with what our guard play was last year, especially at left guard with Roger Saffold. And they went out and they brought in Connor McGovern. Connor played for the Dallas Cowboys and played at Penn State. And I really love hearing that he wanted to come back to closer to where his family is here in this area of the country. And so they wouldn't have to fly to Dallas for all of his games. But very happy to have him part of the team. I think he's a really quality guard that is going to really help our offensive line. So that's a major upgrade, in my opinion. This is all in my opinion. Slot receiver, I felt like that we needed help there. we obviously did because we brought back Cole Beasley for the playoffs. But yeah, they addressed that issue as well with Isaiah McKenzie. It just never seemed to quite work out, other than that one Patriots game a couple years ago that he had a really great game that day. But I think that they felt like they wanted to go a different direction, so they brought in two fast slot receivers in Deontay Harris and Trent Sherfield, and those two guys I think will step up with and help us fill that role at slot receiver. So we got that hole filled, hopefully. We needed a new backup quarterback because Case Keenum decided to go home and play for the Houston Texans, where he's originally from, and I think that's great. I am a closet, second team Houston Texans fan, probably because my daughter lives in Houston, but I like Case, and I'm glad that he's back to where he calls home. And so they went out and they found Kyle Allen. Kyle Allen is a friend of Josh Allen, and I've actually watched Kyle had an interview with Josh on YouTube at one point, and those two guys seem to really get along well, and Kyle seems very intelligent to be able to help us in the quarterback room as well. And backup quarterback's sort of a iffy thing with the Bills anyway, because if Josh Allen ever goes down, we're going to be in trouble. So hopefully Josh can stay healthy and we'll never have to see Kyle Allen on the field, sort of like we never really had to see Case Keenum on the field. But if we do, at least we've got that backup quarterback. Defensive line, this was another place where a hole could be or is emerging. And with the injuries last year, Von Miller, it felt like we really needed another defensive end to come in. And defensive tackle Jordan Phillips was re-signed. So Jordan Phillips did cause a lot of chaos and things in the middle of that defensive line, which is what we want him to do. I think he had a great season last year. I love cheering for him. He tries to get the crowd pumped up as much as possible. He's a very nice guy too, and glad Jordan's back on the team. And when they signed Jordan, I thought maybe, and it did happen, we would sign Shaq Lawson. So Shaq Lawson is back on the team as well. And when Von went down, he came in and played pretty well. I just think we need a bigger name player on that defensive line, but it's good to have Jordan and Shaq back on the team. I think both of them will help us this season. But I do think we need a defensive lineman. But the biggest hole on the team, the biggest hole by far, there always seems to be one really big hole. Last year it was cornerback. This year it's linebacker. And Milano, what an amazing linebacker he is. Look at right there, Matt Milano. He's playing great for us. But Edmonds, his contract ran up. I've always thought that Edmonds was a great linebacker, and he's going to be missed on the team, and it does leave us with a giant hole. I was hoping we were able to sign someone in free agency to come in, but we were not able to. From another team. A.J. Klein did just sign recently, and he will be a good linebacker for us. And Dotson, when Edmonds got hurt last year, I thought Dotson came in and played well too. So Klein and Dotson will do a good job. And we drafted a guy last year too in Bernard that hopefully he will be able to step up now too. But I really feel like we do need a linebacker. It's going to have to be addressed in the draft. Knock on wood. I hope Bean's listening to that. But the draft's a weird thing, that where guys are supposed to fall, where they're not supposed to fall, who you're supposed to get. But linebacker is our biggest hole going into the draft, as we weren't able to really address it from another team in the offseason, like we were at safety with bringing in Tyler Rapp and at slot receiver with Harris and Sherfield. So hopefully, and at offensive line with McGovern. I do think we need an offensive tackle. I would like another defensive lineman and a linebacker, but every team has needs. Hopefully, we can address some of these in the draft, or maybe another player coming or a trade or something. But it's like a team's going to be really good this year again. I mean, we have Josh Allen, so the team should be good. But we got to get some tools around him. We can't just depend on him being the guy. I mean, obviously Diggs and Knox, and he does have some players around him, but I'm just saying we'd like to get more talented on the team. With salary cap restrictions, it can be hard and can be a difficult thing. But with the draft coming up, maybe I'll do another video on some of the guys that hopefully can fill those holes before the draft, and then after the draft, we'll see how we did and if we were able to find those missing pieces to fill the puzzle up so that we can have a championship run season this year. But for now, I'll just remind you that God loves you, and so do I.